it away, fellas.
Of the Man Space Podcast. Now, this is the voice of Russ, and with me, as always, dropping fire just like a Chris Brown diss track, the one and only Big Les.
What's up?
What's going on,
man? Baby? You all right?
All is good, man. You?
Yeah, man. I can't complain, man. I'm just trying to, live in this wonderful world, my guy.
Really?
That's all I can ask for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not even gonna argue it. I'm not even gonna argue it, man.
I'm so special. I'm so special.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's at least your mama tells you that, right? She
well,
tells
I'm
you
trying to
special.
tell you,
That's
only
all
two
that
women
matter,
in the
right?
world. It's only two women in the world. My mama, my wife. My daughters think I'm a little thrown off too. So
yeah, that's true.
Don't matter.
Listen, this is our 200th episode. It just seems like just yesterday we was doing
200?
like episode 100, man.
I know, man. I know. It's a blessing.
It is. It's been a special journey to get to this point.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm very thankful for everybody who's tuned in over the years to help us. And
me too, man.
This is kind of a little bit of a bittersweet moment. I'm going to drop a little nugget in here for the Man Space Nation. This is going to be the last episode that we actually put on tv.themanspace.podcast.com. This will be the last broadcast on there. This will be the last time you see the full broadcast on YouTube as well, as we will be shifting over to OnStage Plus for the video versions of the show going forward. We just go to the manspacepodcast.com and keep up with all the details, and we will let you know exactly when everything is going to shift over. But this is going to be the final broadcast of the show. Now, the audio version of the podcast will stay the same. So wherever you listen to the show, you'll still be able to listen to it just as normal. Okay? Makes sense? Everybody's happy?
Makes sense.
Everybody's
but what a special day it is. And what a special day to make some changes, man. Hey, power to the Man Space and to our listeners. Man.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let me tell you, this is going to be a busy episode because we got not one, but two special guests that's going to be joining us.
Yes, sir.
And I want to bring up the first one right now. So we call him the Slim Fit Guru. As a young man, he vowed never to settle for mediocrity, channeling his energy into education, sports, and music, which led him to Central State University, where he left his life behind and moved into the marching band. He found his footing and striding toward success with a relentless work ethic. Post-college led him into the world of corporate America, which is, as we all know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but twists and turns molded him into the man he is today. He has a relentless warrior spirit and an unyielding passion for life itself. And now you can find him hosting his sanctuary cave known as the Dave Cave. Now, in the Dave Cave, he breaks down barriers, rewrites narratives, and paves the way for a healthier, happier tomorrow. Man Space Nation, please join me in welcoming David Williams to the Man Space Podcast. Oh, got the applause in there. All right. Welcome to the show, Dave. How you doing, man?
Excellent. What's happening, fellas? What's happening? Thanks
what's going on?
Hey,
all is good, man.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
All is good. Listen, Dave.
Yes,
now, you and I, we tend to have a little bit of a spirited debate every now and then when it comes to the world of sports. And
yes.
I value your opinion because you do come with a great opinion. And a lot of times I have to think about what you're saying because you are very opinionated, but you come with a lot of facts on it. And this is one that I wanted to get your take on before we actually get into the show.
Yeah.
So there's been a whole big debate around the WNBA and Caitlin Clark being drafted number 1 and her salary came out. Do you feel as overall her contract was 4 years, just around $338,000? Do you feel like they should get paid on a closer scale? We know that it's not apples to apples because it's not the same amount of games that's being played. The revenue is not the same. But do you feel like it should be on a closer scale?
I feel like it could be on a closer scale, but it's not ready yet. What I
Hmm.
mean by that is that they don't bring in enough money. So how are you gonna?
Right.
It's like bringing in a child and just saying they first year out of college, they should
Right.
make just as much as you do in your salary, right? It doesn't
Right.
happen. It's not going to happen.
Hmm.
It's funny because I did some reading on it, and she makes more in NIL than she makes in her salary.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
That's true.
And so
Yes.
that
That's
tells
true.
you that let's not forget that the college is making money off of her too. So let's not forget
That's
Mhm.
yeah.
let's not forget
Hmm.
that. But the league is subsidized by the NBA. So
Yes.
Right.
anytime you start talking about subsidy, it's kind of like paying rent. If somebody's paying a portion of your rent, the real rent is something else, right? So
Mm.
they don't make enough money, so the money's not going to be there. Now we want it to be fair and equitable. I get all of that, but if the money isn't there, isn't there. Like I tell my sons all
Hmm.
the time, hey, I don't know what you're gonna do. I know what my money gonna pay for. This is what you're gonna
Right.
get, right? If you don't have it, you can't pay it. You know that's the problem that we're gonna have. But now I'm one of those guys. Instead of putting people down, I try to. Somebody said it to me the other day. I try to be an advocate for them.
Hmm.
I'm a buy. I'm not gonna go to a game because we don't have one. I'm in Detroit. We don't have a team anymore. But I will
I
buy some
honestly
food.
didn't know the
Yeah,
Detroit team wasn't there anymore.
yeah. We
Yeah.
don't have it
No.
anymore.
It's
They went to
been a few
Tampa Bay,
years.
right, or something like
Oh,
that, or something
Yeah.
along the lines.
Mhm.
okay.
But they moved away. So
Okay.
obviously they need support, right? So you gotta see them on TV, you gotta watch
Yeah.
them, and you gotta
Right.
buy the merchandise. So
Yes.
I'm a sneakerhead. If you guys didn't know, I don't put that in my bio, but I'm a sneakerhead. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy some WNBA colors, and the color is
Yeah.
orange. I'm not really a big orange guy, but I'll
Hmm.
buy some things just because they need that kind of support. But to me,
You
they
can see
just
this
can't make
red
that
over
money
here.
and they
I'm not
care.
a big orange
Well,
guy
yeah, I
either.
know you're not. I know you're not. I mean, I get that Alabama stuff. I won't hold that against you, by the way. But the whole thinking is that it's not there, so you're not going to be able to pull that money from it. You know what I mean? Like you
Right.
can't compare them.
Mhm.
I remember one of the players said something about, well, who is Harrison Barnes? He's a scrub and he doesn't make as much. He makes way more than I do. Well,
Mhm.
it's a whole league that makes way more money than the whole entire NBA. I
Yes.
mean WNBA. So
Mhm.
Yes.
we got to call a duck a spade a spade. Now, if we
Hmm.
advertise more, if we get more games, Caitlin's going to be on ESPN with it. Then
Yeah.
that's how it's all paid for. Then obviously you can get paid more money. So
Right. Right.
that'll help it. But they deserve is a hard word to say. I will say
Hmm.
that eventually they'll get there. But after how long they've been around? 20 some years now or something like that.
A little over 25 years. Yeah.
Yeah, 25 years. They still don't have it. So they got to work on their marketing, and this will help
Hmm.
the Caitlins of the world and all, Angel Reese and all that kind of stuff. It'll
Yeah.
help with it, but it's going to be a very difficult situation because it's just not there. To bring him
Each
up to the
each of the
same salary, it's
top
going to be hard. Go ahead.
each of the top four picks
Yeah,
all and so a lot of people are making it strictly about Caitlin Clark, and
yeah.
the reality is the top four picks all got the same salary. So
Okay.
everybody got the same contract. Their first year is a little over $76,000. Their fourth year, which is an option year for the top four picks, is
Mhm.
around $97,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just that it's not going to be there, right? I mean, they just don't
No.
have the. It prevents them, and you got to remember what the WNBA was started for, to prevent them from going overseas to play because there wasn't a league
Yes.
always there, right?
Hmm.
So now we got something here, and like I said, it's 25 years ago, so that's right around the time I was married, so that's around 1998, right? So
Right.
we're,
Yep.
we're talking this kind of stuff, and we're saying, well, wait a minute, they've been around this long, what's going on? Well,
Hmm.
if you haven't been feeding that soil, and if you don't have that garden, and you haven't been taking care of that garden, it ain't gonna grow. It ain't
Yeah.
gonna just automatically produce crops just because you want it to. That's where
Hmm.
I'm at with it. I think it's a hard pill to swallow because they're putting in the work, right? You see people
Right.
putting in the work. I mean, she can shoot just like anybody. We're talking about strictly Caitlin, but she's putting in the work. You got other ladies that are doing the same thing. They're putting in the work. They're traveling. They're doing all the kind of things. But if it's not there, if you don't have an arena sold out, like Caitlin was selling out arenas, right, in
Yes.
college.
Yes.
So they're
Yeah.
gonna have to use that model and say, hey,
Hmm.
wherever she is, they gotta fan this flame. They're gonna have to say to them, hey, wherever she is, she's gonna be our go-to, and we're gonna
Right.
attract everybody in. That's what it is. And it is what it is, as they say now, but you got to have some progress. You got to say, hey, this is our goal, this is where we want to be. How are we going to mirror the NBA? Because you got to remember, way back when the NBA didn't have this until Bird and Magic came along, right?
True,
With the
right,
whole tape delay and all that kind of stuff.
right.
Nobody was watching that stuff. Right? Nobody was
Nobody
watching
was
that stuff.
watching it, right?
So now we got people like yourself that got, let's say you got girls. I don't have any girls. I got boys, but you would be supportive of your daughter if she was playing, is what I'm getting at. So
Yeah,
you got
absolutely.
people that want to support people. I'm one of those guys. I'll support them, but I'm not a big fan of it because I like the dunks and all that kind of stuff. But I understand what business is, and business needs people spending money. So I can spend some money. I'll help them support them that way. But there's no way they're just gonna make that money just like that. I mean, that's not gonna happen. At least in my
we're in a similar boat where we don't have a team anymore. That Bob Johnson's ex-wife killed that for us. So the closest team to us is in Atlanta, which I drive down to Atlanta every now and then, and I'll go to games down there, and I follow the Atlanta Dream. Their season tickets are actually sold out for the upcoming season. So they're looking for adding a couple of more teams over the next couple of years. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this stuff starts to shake out. But they got to get to a point where people really need to start supporting. And to me I don't feel that the main people that are arguing about the salary is not the players. The players are saying what they say, but the main everybody else that has the outrage, they're probably not watching the games. They're probably not going. They're just seeing the number and just like, oh my gosh, this is an outrage. No, go to the games and support, and that's how it gets increased.
Right.
They're just using a political argument. That's all it is. It's
it's America, right? We love to debate and argue about stuff and really don't do anything about it.
That don't mean anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got a neighbor on the left and the right of me. If I don't cut my grass, I'm the one that makes the neighbor look bad, right? So you got to make sure you cut your grass, right? So you got, hey, what we talking about? You got.
Hey, I got a rule on that. It's within 24 hours of the last person cutting their grass.
Oh man, look, I call it Yard Brothers. Once I hear that lawnmower, I'm like, I gotta get up. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Sign of the wild. So it's the same person,
me and my guy across the street, we're the same way,
Yeah. I mean, that's just what we got to do. So I just feel like if they make a conscious effort, I think it can rise, right? The ship. This is how you win. You win by helping. You got to fan the flame. This is the flame you've been dealt. This is their bird, right? Let's roll with it. Let's just go, right? You can even do her against Angel Reese or whatever. Make it Magic Bird 2.0, whatever the case. That's what. Look, I've lived in America my whole life. Listen, we all like racial tension, right? That's what we like. Bird against Reese. I mean, Caitlin against Reese. So what? That's what you got to fan. That's what you got to do, right? So
and the hope is that they become, that Bird Magic combination between the two of them. You want to see them make those two the face of the league. And
there we go. Talk to me. That's what marketing is about, right?
You got to market. But didn't Caitlin get a Nike shoe deal as well?
I heard she might get one. Yes.
I thought she got one.
Okay.
I think
well,
she is one of the
it's
only.
Funny you say that because
one other person in the WNBA.
Yeah, Sabrina's got one. She has a Nike deal, and the point is that there's another quote unquote black player, right? That's out there. She doesn't have one yet, and she out there balling, and she plays for the Aces and all that kind of stuff. But maybe
she's got a nice little statue right down the street from here. So
I'm just saying, hey, statues don't pay the rent, though. I'm just saying.
So
I'm gonna need that pockets to get fatter. So I mean, a shoe deal would work. And again, if you're gonna do that, you got to make it sure that everybody gets something, right? Like some of the guys I know, they buy. Another thing, market toward the guys. Like in my business, what I do, I'm here to empower men and all that kind of stuff. But I recognize something, man. A lot of men do not take care of themselves. But the wives do a lot of the taking care of, right?
Oh yeah.
So what I'm saying is, it's the same. It's true on the other side. You got to market toward the men. They got to put some of those shoes that they want to sell, that they want us to buy, in men's sizes. You see what I mean? That's what you got to do. You got to include everybody, and that's what you got to do, because a lot of women. Let's be honest. A lot of women just don't watch the WNBA unless they got kids that's playing. So if you want to get some of that male market money, you're gonna have to market toward the males. It's just that simple. That's what I believe. So. They can get there. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take a conscious effort. I've never seen somebody graduate from school the first day, but it shouldn't take them 25 years to get there either. But that's how that goes. But they'll get there. They just have to make a conscious effort to do it. That's what I think. Dead space? No. Okay. No, but listen. Well, here's the thing. You're only going to get there if you keep trying. If you're not trying, it's not going to work. Now they're trying to make a conscious effort. Now people putting all their money and putting all their business out there. Then they got to say, okay, what's our goal? Like I was listening to, I was listening to somebody say, you don't need to have a goal. You need to have a system. They need a system. They need a system in place that says, this is how we're going to market this WNBA. This is how we're going to get our players to make more money. This is how we're going to do all these kind of things. They need a system in place, and if you come to davecave.com, I mean, if you if you make things happen, then you got to get around people that's making it happen, right? You got to say, hey, this works over here. This doesn't work over there. Let's go ahead and make some things happen. Then we can talk about salary. You can't just say it should be like that. And to your point, Les, a lot of people just like to argue. I want to see some action. I want to see some action behind those words. I want to see you do the dishes, right? I had to do the dishes growing up. Like, I had to do the dishes. Hey, if them dishes weren't done, guess what? She would snatch your beep from outside and say, hey, get these dishes done. That's what they need to do. They have to get them the dishes done approach. You got to come out there and say, no, we need this done. This is the timeline. This is what we got to do. And this is why we got to do it. And now that they can do it, you got something there you can build from. That's what's up. Go ahead, Les.
All right. You good. So actually, let me ask you this. During the bio, Russ mentioned that you hosted the Dave Cave, right?
Yeah.
So what made you create that show, and where can people find it?
Okay, cool. So obviously, everybody had to do something during the pandemic. I think everybody went through a phase where, man, I wasn't going through depression, but I'm a people person, and I wasn't able to see anybody. So obviously we have this technology, and that's ergo the Dave Cave came along. I ran into Sean somewhere. Sean Fair, he hosts the Leadership Experience Tour, and I ran into him, and he was like, "Man, you sound like a good speaker." Now everybody's a good speaker because Sean's a salesman, right? But the point was, I just came up with that because I'm always in the basement. My wife kicked me out of the office, and I'm in the basement. So all the time you see me, I'm in the man cave, right? So I call it the Dave Cave. So I just use that to kind of promote the whole health, health and wellness. Making sure guys get their act together, doing that kind of stuff. And as far as being found, of course, I'm on TikTok. I say it all the time. My moniker is TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I'm on all of those. And you can just go there for motivation, male motivation, all that kind of stuff. But again, I have to include the ladies because I've noticed guys do not do things without their wives, right? True. If their wife don't tell them, they don't do it. Right. So I'm including that's a next journey that I'm talking to guys specifically, basically locker room talk. But I realized that a lot of guys that are married, we need to include the wives. And I got to talk to the wives and say, hey, can you schedule your husband's appointment? Now, my wife doesn't do that. So everything I do is based on what I do. I have to make that shift to say, hey, guys, you need to get to the doctor, the dentist, and the therapist. That's my main platform, those three big guys. But I understand some people need to go to a chiropractor. Some people need to go to a specialist, for their foot or something like that. But a lot of guys just don't go. And that's why I said, well, man, because I went through something called pre-diabetes, and everybody's heard of type 1, type 2 diabetes, or pre-diabetes. And that's what I had during the pandemic, right? Because I was going to the gym all the time, but I wasn't eating right? And so food doesn't care about you going to the gym. You got to eat right. And so when I was going through pre-diabetes, they said, look, these are the things you got to do. They gave me the knowledge first, then I had to implement. So that's what I'm doing. I'm saying, hey, I got the knowledge. I lost over 20 pounds between 2020 and now 2024. I lost over 20 pounds. I got off of pre-diabetes, but it's a lifestyle. Because, hey, those sweets keep calling my name. Like, y'all know, Red Velvet and them sweets will call me all the time. Dave, come over. Don't you want to have something to eat? So you got to figure out how to sabotage your failure system. And, you got to sabotage it. You got to say, hey, no, I'm not doing that. I'm a progress. So I just even now before, this podcast got on, I said, look, I need to eat because I don't want to eat after 8 o'clock because I know I'll have fat people dreams, so I'm gonna just make sure that I'm gonna make sure that I do things and I do it on a consistent basis. Right. So, this is the effort that you got to put into it. Consistency. So it's really what I've been doing my whole life, just being consistent in that area and moving on from there.
I can't let that slide. So what are fat people dreams, man?
Hey, man, listen, you think about food. You dream about food. You sit up there. Hey, man, I would love to have this and have that. So my stomach was so full. I think we all can agree around Thanksgiving. We ate way too much, right? We done feasted on football. We got all this turkey and all that kind of stuff. So you just slumber, right? You got can I say Negroitis on stage? Okay, so you have Negroitis, right? And it leads to fat people dreams. That's where you go. You're just like, you just keep thinking about food and all this kind of stuff. So my point was, I wanted to be better. I wanted to be better, man. I wanted to make sure that I didn't have that. So yeah, Fat People Dream. It's not copyrighted, so you guys can use it for a second, because you know, when stuff get out the cave, you know, we can't make sure things get out there. So yeah, it's just one of my Dave-isms. A lot of things go on in the cave, you know, but you know, I make sure things can happen on that end. But that's what it's about.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So before we continue on,
Yeah.
I'm gonna add in one more guest here to join us.
Sure.
And he's no stranger to the show. He was actually on the season premiere of season 4 of the Man Space podcast. Now, Marcus A. Wright, not to be confused with the erotica writer Marcus A. Wright. He's distinguished. Oh yeah. If you Google him, you might get the wrong guy, but he is a distinguished international keynote speaker, an award-winning expert personality coach with over 25 years of corporate experience. His mission is to impact global audiences, train individuals, corporations, and organizations in proven leadership strategies that enhance connections and collaboration. His work has been featured in media platforms such as NBC, Fox, CBS, and the Man Space podcast. Cheap plug for us, as well as leading news, right? As well as leading newspaper promotions and magazines. Please welcome back to the show the one and only Marcus A. Wright.
Yo,
What's up?
hey, Mark,
The man's
What's
back
up,
in the
Marcus?
house.
what's going on, gentlemen?
What's
You
going
got it.
on? So I got it. I got a question for you, Marcus, before we go any further. Last time we were on,
Mm-hmm.
we talked about the Fluffernutter. Have you tried it yet?
Marcus, say no, bro. Just say no, but say you tried the sandwich.
Tell the truth, shame the devil. There you go.
I haven't tried it.
All right, there you go.
Ah.
There you go. There you go.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, the wife be looking at everything you're eating, so you gotta be real careful around here.
Very true. Very true. You're right about that. But listen, before we go any further, I got a letter in at the manspace2020@gmail.com from one of our listeners by the name of Felix. So I just want to read this letter to you guys and get you guys to all comment. So this letter reads I hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing to you because I find myself in a bit of a predicament and could really use some advice. You see, I'm engaged to a wonderful woman who I love deeply, but recently we've been having some disagreements about my relationship with my mother. I've always been very close to my mom. She's been my rock, my confidant, and my biggest supporter throughout my life. We regularly talk, and often I turn to her for advice and guidance. However, my fiance has started to criticize me for being too much of a mama's boy. She says that I rely on my mother too much, and that's preventing me from fully committing to our relationship. She feels like I prioritize my mother's opinions and needs over hers, which isn't my intention at all. I love my fiance deeply and want to make our relationship work, but I also don't want to distance myself from my mom. I'm feeling torn and unsure of how to navigate this situation. Any advice you can give would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for reading my letter. Sincerely, Felix. So I'm going to put that out to the floor and see what you guys think on that situation.
Run, brother, run. Run now.
I'm with you, Les. Hey, less means more. Get out of there now. Listen, if she don't like your mama, she ain't gonna like you. You part of your mama, right?
Next it'll be you spending too much time with your mama. Why you helping your mama out? Why you buying the groceries?
Yes.
You know.
And see, I'm biased because my mother no longer here. She passed away 20-something years ago. Man, I wouldn't care what my wife was saying. You know, my mother, come, please.
Right.
Now I moved from Ohio to Michigan, and I used to go down there all the time. Now get this, when she passed away, I don't go down there as much. You see what I mean?
Right.
So
right,
I'm with Les. I would run right now because you only have one mom. And look,
yeah,
if it's
he's not married yet.
if you're,
So
but listen, I got 25 years in the game. If you are having problems before you get married, guess what? You're gonna have some more.
you're gonna have them after.
You're gonna have some more,
I
right? So
100%
you
agree
gotta
with that.
realize, what are you willing to put up with? Because guess what? It's gonna be some more stuff that happen. Because if she can make you do this, what else can she make you? Next thing you know, you'll be hanging your drawers from the dryer instead of putting them in the dryer. You know what I mean? Come on, what are we talking about? No, no, sir.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hey,
see,
I can see Marcus over there stewing. I can see him stewing.
he's thinking
Come
of
on, Marcus,
a
give it to
PC
him.
way to say this, right?
Yeah.
But
Well,
go ahead.
because
That's the,
when
I,
you look
I know it.
you look at this whole situation, right?
Mhm.
There's a couple questions that Felix I would ask you. And the first one is, when you're in this relationship, look at the relationship that you have with your mom. Are you spending a lot of time with her? Find out the pros and cons of what your girl is saying versus what you're doing with your mom. I'm a mama's boy, so
Mhm.
I can say this, but they have a point as far as run if she's trying to control things.
Yes.
But if it's valid, then you really have to look at that, right? I got 21 years married, 25, 26, 27 years being with my wife. And it's just real simple. Her and my mom get along well, but they didn't at first. And that was
Mm.
because I listened to my mother's opinion all the time. I didn't really include her in anything that I was deciding. I was including my mom and everything. Well, at
Mhm.
the end of the day, I'm just gonna be real. Your mom ain't gonna do what your woman gonna do because that's your mom.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
you got to make a decision on what's important. But make sure when you make that decision that you're looking at it from an aspect of, are you really spending too much time with your mom? And is your girl overreacting? The only way you can do that is for yourself to write the pros and cons out on how you're spending time with both of them. And then you can hash that out with your girl, or you can make the decision to run. I don't want to get, because I can go, from my perspective, I'm a very spiritual person. I don't want to get too biblical because the word basically said you leave your mom and your father and you
Mhm.
cleave to your wife.
Yeah.
So
That's
you
right.
got to make a
But
decision on where you're gonna
but
be.
you said a key word though. You said wife. That's not
Yeah,
his
but you
wife
got to
yet.
get there first.
I know you
They're
got to get
engaged.
there,
Yeah.
but that's not his wife because of truly your woman is number one. Mother falls down the line once you get married. But
Right.
in the beginning,
Yeah.
of this, if I see something in between my mom and her, you're right though, Marcus. You got to make that right decision, and you got to
It's got to
see
be right.
you got to weigh those things out.
Mhm.
But if I'm seeing that controlling piece, and you don't want me to spend time with my mother, that's the woman who birthed me. So
Right.
yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna take care of her, but I need you to stand with me while I do so.
I think
And
there's a
it could be a
difference
red
That's my
between
flag
mother.
taking
of her
care of, though.
relationship, right?
Yeah.
It could be
Yeah.
a red flag too of her relationship, right?
Exactly,
Right.
by her parents.
Yeah, you with her parents, she
Yeah.
might not have that whole let's not call a duck and a spade a spade. She might be a daddy's girl, right? You don't know
Yeah,
that, right?
that's true.
Hey, we
That's
got this
true.
other
I
thing
was
happening
actually
over
gonna
here.
go. I was
Yeah.
gonna go
We
there
don't know
next.
what's happening over here. Hey, you can't spend more time with her than I spend with my. You don't know all. I
Mhm.
need some. To your point, Marcus, I need some more context.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, the family you come from, I like what Miss Cassandra said. The family you are creating has to become a priority to the family you came from. It definitely does have to be. But there's always
Yeah.
red flags. It's always in a
Mhm.
relationship. It's all about what you're willing to deal with. If you're not
That
willing to
was
deal with
that's it right there.
Yeah.
this right now, it's not
Yep.
going to get better. It's going to get worse. Because guess what? It's going to be more time. We ain't even talked about having
Mhm.
kids. That's a whole
No,
nother
that's a
man space thing, right?
Yeah, but
Having
Yeah.
children.
Russ, you had something to say.
You
I'm
know
gonna
what I
let
mean?
you say it, then I'm gonna say one more thing. Go
Yeah.
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Russ.
Russ. Go ahead,
So
Russ.
there's a difference between spending time with your mother and using your mother for every advice situation.
Mhm.
There's a huge difference with that. I don't think there's any woman that would sit there and begrudge a man spending time with his mother unless it's obsessive amounts of
Right.
time with his mother. There's a negative connotation that goes with the term mama's boy. Marcus, you admitted that you're a mama's boy. Heck, I admit I'm a mama's boy. I call my mom every single day. Every single day. I'm not asking her advice. I'm just calling to check on her because I don't get a chance to see her every day. So I call to check on her every single day, make sure she's all right. She's 78 years old. So I'm going to call and check on her every single
Yeah.
day because that's my role as her son to make sure she's all right. However, I'm home, I'm making sure my house is taken care of first, right?
Right.
If I need to have somebody to have advice and bounce suggestions off of, I'm gonna talk to my wife first. I'm not gonna bounce all that off my mother because it's not my mother's responsibility to take care of what's in my household anymore. She's already
But
done her job and got me out of the house.
again,
She's
though,
already
we
given me the
continue to
tools to get
say
out of the house.
again, though, we continue to say wife.
Yeah.
I
We
like that.
continue to say wife. And that's what's most important, right? I said vows with this woman, and now she becomes the priority in my life. My mother has to take a back seat, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm not a mama's boy. I do talk to my mom weekly, right? But I'm just not one of those emotional type people. I like to be alone.
You're a
Mhm.
thug.
Okay. Whatever, dog. Ain't no way near it.
But Les, you're right. But here's the thing that we have to look at too. Now
Mhm.
I'm gonna flip the script a little bit, and I'm gonna take her side. What is he doing? Is he calling her for advice on paying his bills and can't stand on his own 2 feet?
Yeah, that's true.
Is he calling her for
Mhm.
advice because he can't make a decision whatsoever?
hmm
Is he calling her for advice on what he should eat every day?
Mhm.
Is he calling her so he can go over there and
Right.
eat every day?
Right.
Well, that's when I'm gonna tell her to run.
Right.
If I was
Yeah,
her
right.
father,
Yeah.
Right. But
Right.
what I'm right,
There's levels to mama's boy.
The-
Right?
the-
It
There
is
are
levels.
levels.
It's
But I'm
levels.
saying that's
Mhm.
what he has to what Felix will have to determine is what level he's at.
Mhm.
And if he's not at that level where he's doing those things, but he's just talking to his mom, like you said, Les, like you said, Russ, and what I do with my mom, I call her every couple of days because she's always so busy. So every couple of days, I call her, check on her, see how she's doing,
Right.
what she's doing.
Mhm.
But if it's not to if it's that way, that's different. And I'm not saying wife, I'm saying his girlfriend, fiance. But maybe he needs to sit down with her and really understand what's going on, why she feels the way she feels.
Mhm.
And that's like I said, if he's calling his mother for everything,
There's a problem.
well,
There's
that's
a
a problem.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
that's
an
a
absolute
problem. We all agree as men that that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's what I'm
definitely
saying. He got to weigh out what
Yeah.
he's doing. And
Yeah.
if he ain't doing that, then y'all advice is probably right.
Yeah.
Right. Run as fast as you can.
So let me ask you guys this.
Yeah.
Is there a benefit from just kind of twisting this a little bit? Is there a benefit for women to see a man who is considered a mama's boy, not the extreme level, but somewhere in that, okay, he takes care of his mother type deal? Is there a
Sure.
benefit for a woman to see that?
To a certain extent, yes.
It has to be. It has to
Yeah,
be. And
because
you want to have some kind of
you're
empathy,
showing
right? Yeah. Yeah.
you're showing
Love.
her how
I'ma
you would
treat
treat a woman.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
treat
Exactly.
you.
Right.
I'm gonna
Right.
treat my daughters because this is what this is where I hold my mother, and this is where I hold females. But I've seen dudes, and I'm not gonna go too far into this. I've seen dudes have major respect for their mothers, but not for others.
Yes.
That's
Mm,
I've
true.
seen that as well. I've seen that as
That's
well.
true.
wow.
I've seen
Yeah,
that as well.
know,
Yeah.
but it is a flag. Hey, that's a green flag. He takes care of his mother. He loves his mother. Make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
He treats her right. So it's a larger possibility that he would
Yeah.
treat a woman properly.
You should. Yeah. Much larger.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
And
I
we
think
don't
those
know the whole
aspects too.
situation too, that it could be one of those, he doesn't have a father in his life, right? So
That's
Right.
it's
true.
It's
him
possible.
and
That's
his
true.
mother, because I understand the
True.
single parent household. I grew up in that as
Mhm.
well. That's
Right.
that's where the Dave K came from too, because I had to put myself isolated and then it had to go and grow from that, right? But and I understand what the person just said. Hey, if you don't have a relationship
Yeah.
with your mom, is when I run, because
Mhm.
it's we are, as human beings, we have so many dynamics, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
So
do.
you have to ask, to your point, Marcus, it makes more sense to ask more and more questions. You've
Yeah.
got to get
I agree 100%.
got to get all these questions answered, because on the surface it might be something, but it's with guys, we don't like to talk about it, but there's always something deeper. Well,
Yeah.
the reason why I got into music and all that kind of stuff, it kept me out of trouble, right?
Right.
It wasn't music, it was church, it was something, keeping me out of trouble. So
Mhm.
I enjoyed that. But ironically, get this, I started it later, but I don't have a huge music collection, right? Because I was poor. I had to make the decision like, hey, this is what we doing or not doing. But when it came to, I remember a young lady in college was like, you never take me anywhere. I don't have any money. How about that? What are we talking
We can
about?
walk to the corner.
Hey, listen, y'all old school with me. Y'all old school with me. The video store. Let's go. That's what we do.
That's Blockbuster, baby. Let's
And
go.
listen, if you wasn't down
Hey.
with that, it was time to go, right? Because
Hey.
I didn't have it, right? And some
Right,
people,
right.
you got to ask some of that questions. So I would tell Felix, I got a book. Like I said, I'm in the cave, so I come ready. It's called Intellectual Foreplay: Questions for Lovers and Lovers to Be. Intellectual foreplay.
But
That's a
see,
great
that's
book.
Amount of questions. You got to ask the
communication.
questions. You
That
got
is
to
a
ask
great
Communication
book,
is
Dave.
huge, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
those
agree.
questions.
Yep. I always look at it like this, and I tell young people, if you can't have a conversation for an hour to 2 hours with your spouse without the TV, without your phone, without any music, then you might want to discuss some things. You might want to really evaluate that, because a lot of time it's going to come down to just communicating.
Yeah,
and you
that's
won't have these devices and things to take the time away. You
Yes.
got to sit down and you got to communicate with her.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
Hey,
That's right. Two
it is
different
what it
households.
is.
Two different
Yep.
households.
I'm actually I'm proud of you, Les, right now. You see, I communicate. Oh, look at Les.
Well, I try to tell you, them Chicagoans, man. I try.
Hey, that's what you should have said, Marcus. That's when you said you got to have the right mentality.
That's
remember,
right.
That's what you
I'm
should have said.
surprised. I'm happy he
Yes.
got the right mentality. It actually shocked me.
Yeah. Boy,
Right
That's-
mentality, baby. Right mentality.
Look,
I
look.
see. I see.
I'm gonna tell you, if this dude right here wasn't always busting me up, I don't know what I would do. That's why I like Marcus, because you can. Some people, they just a little timid and nah. Marcus, since day one, has been trying to, bust me up, but he over there on the other side. I deal with. Listen, me and David. Look, I'm gonna cross him out. Dave, look.
I can't see you.
What is this all about? He gonna talk to you?
Other side of Lake
Oh,
Chicago.
okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh,
You
man.
see, yeah, you know what
I
I'm
got
talking
you. I
about.
got
You know what I'm talking about.
I can connect with you because you
That's
from
it.
Michigan, right? You
That's
from
right.
Michigan, right?
That's right. I'm from
Yeah.
Michigan, born and
Yeah,
raised.
Yeah. So you
But
feel-
you know what? Ohio is connected.
It's close
to us,
enough.
too.
It's close
It's
enough.
close enough. We good. We good.
Mm.
You from where you from in Ohio, man?
Dayton, Ohio. Born and
Oh,
raised.
okay.
We're gonna have to move
Right,
past this segment right here
Oh,
because
right.
I don't want to have to bust no people up from the shy. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
I'm
man.
not all the way,
Y'all
baby.
had Jordan, man. Y'all had Jordan. It's over with. I had Jordan. It's over with.
Oh,
And you had our sloppy seconds with Rodman. So you good.
Did you say sloppy seconds?
Sloppy.
And Sally. And
That's when
Sally.
and Sally, yeah. That's
Sally,
when he
right?
started wearing dresses
Well,
and
guess
earrings and
what?
stuff. When he
Y'all
got
never would have won a championship if y'all had a Chi-Town Isaiah Thomas. Remember that.
That is true. That's true. I give you
Yeah.
that.
Don't get me
He was
started.
just born there. He was just born there.
Right.
He got that. He got that vigor from us. From us.
Man, he from the west side of Chicago. What you talking about? Bigger from
Hey.
y'all.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you up. Isaiah was cold now. Isaiah was cold. Hey, I remember the Isaiah Thomas story. Remember that? I remember that.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was on TV. I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, that's my man, though.
Yeah.
Marcus, ain't nothing but love, baby.
Yeah,
I know.
we good.
Hey, but listen, guys. Before we go to break, I have to tell you about our new sponsor, Manscaped. It's starting to get warm out, and when it gets warm, we all like to go to the beach. Well, picture this, fellas. When you go to the beach, you're lounging there, you're enjoying a tasty beverage, enjoying the water, and you feel a big gust from the water. Like, wait, what's that peeking out your bathing suit? None other than a wild jungle down there. Fellas, don't let your nether regions become untamed by the wilderness. Don't worry, guys. Manscaped has got you covered with the Lawnmower Ultra 5.0. With its dual system skin safe blades, the Lawnmower 5.0 next generation growing groomer will give you the trim that you need. And now with our code TMSP20, you can get 20% off and free shipping. That is TMSP20. Guys, Don't do it for Russ. Do it for your balls. Guys, it is time for something we need to bring back, the Manspace Game Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last time we had Marcus and Les compete against each other in a battle of Detroit versus Chicago. And I thought I would just since Marcus won this battle last time, I thought I would let Marcus start, but I'm going to be fair. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to see who starts the game. So the game is, in Manspace Nation, you guys can play along with this. I'm going to ask a question. We got a survey question of 100 people. And
God.
yes, that game, Les.
Oh, I'm going to lose.
We got a survey question of 100 people.
I don't think like regular people.
And you're going to have to, one of you are going to have to guess.
All right.
How many people did whatever the question asked? The other person will guess higher or lower. Manspace Nation, you're more than welcome to play along with us. Now, before we decide who goes first, I'm going to give you guys a question. Whichever one of you can get this right will start.
All right.
Which state is rated by travel.com as the #1 state for pizza?
Chicago, Illinois.
I think it's Cali.
Man, please.
Oh, well, we both
Then it
wrong.
must be New York.
Oh,
You got to guess?
Alabama.
Hey,
since all the obvious answers are gone, you know what I mean? I want to throw one out there. Wisconsin with cheese.
Heck, I don't even. Let's see.
Better not be Detroit.
No.
Right.
At Georgia. Man, I don't know. That don't even make no sense.
It don't make sense. Texas.
Really? North Dakota?
Oh,
Good grief.
Colorado.
I mean, y'all, boy, this gonna be longer than
All
the
right,
game.
tell us, is it east or west?
Yeah,
It's on the East Coast. It's the Northeast. How's
Northeast
that?
Jersey.
Rhode Island or Rhode Island?
Jersey.
What? Okay, really?
Jersey
Who did that survey?
By
I told you,
travel.com,
Marcus.
Jersey is rated with the best
I told
pizza.
you, Marcus. I told you.
Les, that makes no sense, does it?
Zero, bro.
Okay.
Zero. And you know what? I'm gonna give Marcus, because that's my man's. I'm gonna give him the first shot. You got it.
I was gonna give it to you, but
I'm giving it to you. I said it first.
all
Detroit isn't an estate. Yes, it is. That's where I'm from. Detroit state of mind.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Feel free to play along with us. Let's see. You gonna give it to Marcus?
I'm giving it to Marcus. That's my
All right,
guy.
Marcus, you're gonna get the question.
I'm ready.
All right. We asked 100 single men, have you ever used a dog or a baby to attract women? How many said they had?
I'm gonna say at least 75.
I'm gonna go higher than that.
Ooh, you're going higher, huh?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Let's see. You would be.
I thought you supposed to have the answers.
I got
Right
the
there.
I got the answers. I was just looking for the right buzzer, just to
I'm
buzz
wrong?
you.
No, I'm wrong.
He's
I'm
wrong.
sure.
Okay.
Marcus, you're up 1-0. You're up 1-0.
So what's
The
the give it? Yeah, give it to us.
It's 68. 68 was the number. So I've actually done this one. Have you done this one, Les?
Yes. That's
Have
why
you
I
done
know
it,
it's-
Marcus?
Oh, my nephew all the time, dog.
Yeah.
I had a little dog when I was in college, and I would carry her in my backpack, and I let her head stick out the backpack when I was walking to class. Oh yeah, I've done it.
Oh no, my nephew Jay Sean Wright.
Mhm.
That's it. That's it.
All right,
My little
Marcus, you're
brother.
up 1-0. This is the best 3 out of 5. 1-0. Les, if you lose this one on the season 5 premiere, you're gonna have to
It
do the
don't
hot chip challenge, man. The
I'm
one chip
not
challenge, yeah, yeah.
I ain't doing it.
Season 5 premiere. So you better win.
Marcus,
You better
stand back
you
the rest
better
of your
read.
questions.
You need to redeem the Man Space podcast here. All right, here we go. Les, the question is to you.
Yes.
We asked 100 single women, have you ever attended an ex's wedding? How many said they had?
Since I ain't a woman, I don't really talk to them like that. But I'm gonna go with about 45%.
Okay. All right, Marcus,
Gonna be
higher or
lower.
lower?
It's gonna be lower.
Marcus, you are up 2-0. The answer
He's getting a
is
kick out of
6.
this. You're looking for the right one. See, I knew.
The answer is 6.
Only
So
them
that's
crazy.
two.
Only them crazy ones do that.
Right, Marcus, you're up 2-0.
There's a lot of them out there.
You can
That's why I
clean
know they
sweep
lying.
them.
They lying, bro.
Because we stupid.
Okay.
We stupid to even tell them
We
when we get married.
For real. They lying. You know they done found out and was there in the parking lot watching the whole time.
All right, Marcus, you can clean sweep this one.
Oh, I'm clean sweeping it.
We're just gonna mute Les for the rest of the show if he loses this question right here.
We can't mute my man though. That's my dog right there.
Yeah, man. See how this dude doing me? It's okay. I got something for you.
We asked 100 tutors, have you ever done a kid's homework for them? How many said they had?
That's at least 40%.
40%.
I'm gonna say lower than that because they're gonna try to be ethical. They're gonna lie.
That's a good one.
All right. Les is going lower. Lower. Les, you're still in the game. 2-1. 2-1. You're still in it. The answer is 10.
See, they lying. You know, they ready to get out of that house. You know, they ready to get out of there. They go like, put this in your bag, Billy. Take this to school tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna rock this.
This is a good one. All right, Les, the question's back to you. 2-1. Marcus is ahead. Marcus, you can still win with this one here. We asked 100 recent college graduates, do your parents pay for your rent? How many said yes?
Oh, college graduates?
Recent college graduates, do your parents pay for your rent? How many said yes?
That's a good one.
That's a real good one because 25%, man.
25%. Okay.
25%. Oh, that's kind of tough. I'm gonna say lower. I am gonna say lower.
Okay.
Marcus is going lower. Oh, okay. We see the Man Space Nation is chiming in.
Cassandra said higher.
Okay.
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 There we go. Ooh, Howard said 80.
80%.
God almighty. Well, you know what? If they move back home, see, that was the caveat that I didn't think of. I thought it was paying rent.
It just says paying rent.
Yeah,
it
they
says
moving
paying
back
rent.
home.
It's probably higher. Let's see.
Yeah,
but I'm still going lower.
All right,
All
Marcus.
right, then.
You're wrong. It's 38. So now it is 2-2.
Les, you came back.
Hey,
Next question
This a
wins
facade,
the
brother.
game.
All right.
Next question wins the game. Man, Space Nation, who do you got your money on? Les or Marcus?
Don't put them on the spot like that.
Well, I gave you the last one, so this is why it's
You gave me the last one.
Yeah, I
Okay.
gave you.
All right.
All right.
Here we go. We asked 100 single women, could you date someone who chews with their mouth open? How many said yes?
Oh God.
Everybody's picking Marcus in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
That's interesting. Choose with their mouth open.
Yes. How many would date
And the
somebody
women
who
accept
chews
it?
with their mouth? Mm-hmm.
Well, see, this is a new breed.
That's why it's
man.
tough, because
It's
it's a new
hard.
generation. They're a little weird.
I'm gonna go with 50.
Well, yeah, I'm supposed to.
It's not your question.
Oh, I thought it was mine because I
No.
won the last one. But
It's
okay,
on Marcus. It's Marcus.
my bad. So now you know what I'm gonna do. So now cry foul if I
Yeah, because
lose.
it's actually 40. It ain't gonna be 50. I can't imagine. Well, damn, this generation is so strange. Can I phone a friend?
No lifelines.
No Google either.
No, I ain't touching my phone. I don't know, man. I'm just put a guess. I'm gonna say 45.
Okay. Les, for the win, higher or lower?
Higher.
Les, you would be wrong. It was lower. 25.
25%.
Yeah, said that they would actually do it. Out
It's
of
just
100.
hard with this, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Les, you disappoint me, Les. You disappoint me.
Hey, listen, you can't win all the time, man.
Hey,
I take my losses gracefully as I take my wins.
We're
Well,
gonna have to keep bringing Marcus back to the show just so you can try to.
I ain't
redeem
playing him no
yourself.
more.
too old, dog. Too old. Too old.
I ain't playing no more.
Touchdown, baby.
This was the best of 3, and he the won 2. So there we go.
Somebody said hot chips coming. You gotta eat
You know
that
what?
chip.
You know what? I'll do it. Just because he said it, I'll do it. But I ain't gonna do it soon. I gotta get together first.
Yeah, you know,
All right.
I don't know how you gonna do that.
I don't know.
All
If
right.
if Russ did it, I know I can do it.
I haven't
You
done
did
the one
what?
chip yet. I didn't do the
Oh.
one chip. We did the hottest
Y'all did
gummy
the hot
bear.
sauce. Hottest
We
gummy
did.
bear.
We did the hottest gummy bear. We did the roulette wheel of hot sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to tap out on that one. The gummy bear was awful. That was just straight up disgusting because it was so hard, and it's like all that heat just sat in your mouth. That was terrible.
Yeah, no, man, I couldn't do that at all.
And then we did the Death Nut Challenge, which was the hottest peanuts.
Yeah.
And so you had like different levels of peanuts, you know, and,
Yeah.
and we messed
What you did
around. No, so we had 2 boxes of them on the table,
Mhm.
right? So half the table had one box, the other half had the other box. My son grabs the box, he looks at it and sits it upside down. So we started at the hottest one.
The
Oh,
bottom.
yeah.
Oh God.
I'd have been mad.
And they quit right off the bat, right? And I'm trying to hang in there. And so I'm moving down. I'm like, man, this one ain't as hot as the last one. And they finally flipped it over and realized that what we did, yeah, but that was brutal. That
Now,
was
where you
brutal.
get the hottest gummy bear from? I want to try this now.
I'll bring it to you this weekend. How's that?
All right.
I got
Okay.
I got some left. I'll bring it to you.
I'm ready.
Will your
Listen.
wife do it too or no?
No, well, no, Sonora like the hot stuff.
Okay,
I
I'll
don't
bring
like
you an
hot
extra
stuff
one.
like that.
I'll
So,
bring you an extra one. You gotta let us know how you're gonna do with this now.
all right.
We need to see this live.
They record it
Oh,
or record it and send it to him. Do it.
We want
Yeah.
it recorded. We want
Yeah.
it recorded.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah.
All right,
I might
let's
just
bring
record mine and just eat it too. I don't know. We'll see.
let's bring Dave back into the conversation here.
Yeah.
What's up, baby?
Hey, what's happening?
What's up, man?
All right,
Hot
Dave.
gummy bears and chips, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I
Hey,
just
miss me with all that. Yeah, no problem.
You got the tender throat, Dave.
Oh man, come on, man. Them days over. That's a young man's game. What you talking about?
I know they keep trying to throw it at me.
Nah,
He
that's
just mad.
young.
He just mad because
So-
I wouldn't do it.
Here's the secret, right? I mean, it's gonna be hot regardless, right? But what you do is you eat honey ahead of time and coat your stomach. So that way you don't get the after effects, because once it goes down, you're gonna get all the bubble guts and everything else. So you got to eat honey and coat your stomach first. That was what I learned.
I
So this is
appreciate
your
the
this is your
heads up.
coaching. Yeah, this is
Yes,
your
that's my
coaching
coach.
to me.
This is the
Okay.
coaching,
Okay.
right?
All right.
I'm coaching you guys.
Yeah, that's not Dave Cave approved. Okay, thank you. Hey,
So
just
listen,
have some honey. Don't worry about your stomach.
Gotta prove that. Just the honey.
hey,
Yeah, just have some honey.
so listen. We got another question that's coming up here.
Sure.
So, this past weekend, Marcus and I had a chance to attend the Deeper Men, Deeper Women conference down in Atlanta, hosted by Dr. Barbara Sweeney. The subject of men's emotion came up. Well, I wanted to put this on the table in front of the three of you. You know, how can men lead healthier emotional lives?
What are emotions? No, I'm just.
I was about to say which one of our emotional selves is going to answer this first?
Right. 'Cause
Yeah.
I ain't in touch with my emotional side yet. But no, the point is,
Do you
that,
feel like there's a struggle where we can't be emotional, especially in front of a woman?
well, I can tell you from my own personal experience, I had to understand what emotions I needed to share and which ones I actually needed to keep to myself, right? Because I was taught to just keep everything to yourself. A man don't cry, a man don't do this, all the man stuff that you don't do.
Right.
But it was ruining my relationship. And I got the advice from a man that was married 3 times. So you know what I mean? So that whole thing wasn't there. But you do have to be in touch with your emotions. And it does start with going to some kind of counseling. I promote that, going to some kind of counseling, getting some of that counseling, so you can again, when you're reading and filling your mind with knowledge, you will say, hey, look, I have this thing. Look, it sounds corny, but I have this feeling wheel that I can go to, that I have to go with my wife about. And I was in counseling, and she was like, you're not in touch with your feelings. I was like, yeah, I feel you doing me wrong. I know that, that, but the point was,
he's still alive, y'all.
I was younger in a relationship, so it was one of those things I had to recognize. Women always talk with their feelings, right? And I never did. So I had to meet her at least halfway. So I went to this feeling wheel and said, hey, for instance, I feel like you feel one of the big feelings I had was that she was ignoring me, or feeling she was what's it called? Not inferior, but it was one of the tasks that she was demeaning toward me. That's what it was. And she was just like, I didn't think I was doing that. Oh, I apologize. She just quickly did it just like that, where I'm like, no, you got to understand my pain. And she was like, no, I understand it. I apologize. And that's really all I was looking for. You know what I mean?
She knew what she was doing.
She knew what she was doing, because that's her arena. That's like me talking to her about sports. She don't know nothing about sports, right? So I'm like, hey, they really need to blitz on this play. Blitz? What's a blitz? So that's kind of how I related to and said, oh, I need to get in her arena and talk her game. So I had to have the tools, right? I had to have the tools to go ahead and say, hey, nope, I'm feeling frustrated, or I'm feeling emotionally detached. I need to recognize, hey, you're doing it to me again, where you're belittling me and that kind of stuff. It was like beyond happy, sad, mad, and horny. I had to actually say something that was, tangible. So it's something that we as men have to work on, and we have to get around other guys like yourselves and say, hey, I need to go to that conference. I need to do these kind of things, because we just I just hate for us to be around in a space where we're not transparent. And transparency means that, hey, I'm gonna have to let go of some of those things. Like I'm feeling frustrated, or I'm feeling like, hey, you're not, and you got to talk in feelings. It can't be one of these things like, I'm just mad, just leave me alone. No, you got to go like same thing. You got to ask those questions. You might not want to hear them, but you got to ask them, and you got to say to yourself, you might need to ask yourself those things and say, hey, why am I feeling this way? Is it from childhood? Is it from, I didn't have a complete relationship? Like I didn't date about a bunch of people. Listen, I'm one of those guys. I just didn't have a bunch of time for people that weren't going somewhere. If you weren't going somewhere, I didn't have time for you. So
Right.
boom, it just wasn't gonna happen. I was just in Chicago the other week, and my wife is up there doing her thing, and I was able to quickly realize, like, hey, you're here for this, but I'm here to serve you, and I wasn't really ready for that, right? And I was like, oh, okay, I see, I'm really not the priority. It was her show, it was her thing, and I told her, I said, look, I'm proud of you. I said, you ain't got to worry about me. I know. Listen, I've been by myself my whole life, so this little time that I'm up here in Chicago, it's not going to be a problem. But you have to recognize that you need some help and get that help. And look, do it on a daily. Like, you guys all watch sports. You know how we'll watch the game, then we'll watch the after party, right? The show after the game, right? But when it comes to feelings, you're like, hey, I'm done. I did this one thing, and I'm done. You have to share. You have to be able to say, hey, I'm being transparent. And that's kind of what the cave does too. I try to promote just the overall transparency. I was that guy, was bigger. I understood about the pandemic. I didn't have any workout equipment, at home. That's what was my main thing. I didn't have any. So I had to get that together. So that helps too with your emotional intelligence, because you got to recognize that your health is definitely a part of that as well, in my opinion.
Well, I think that what we as men, like I grew up in a household, military household, basically, but my dad and my grandfather, thank God for both of them, for me, always told me that it would take a very strong man to cry and a very strong man to share his feelings. But they didn't take me further enough down that path. They kind of just led me a little bit without more insight. So I kind of taught myself the rest. I think that as men, we have this thing that because we're providers, that's what we're going to do. And that's what we do first. And if we're going through something emotionally, we're all, I believe, at this point where we can compartmentalize how we're feeling at the moment to keep going. But if we do that too much, we're not able to share how we're feeling about certain situations. We have that we're fighting through, but then we have, I'm going to share my emotions with you. However, now you're asking me too many questions.
Oh yeah.
And now the drain comes in because our wives, significant others, spouses, they don't get that when they ask us too much emotionally, the drainage that it has on us, because we're physically thinking about things, mentally thinking how we're going to provide as well. And now you're going to just suck all of our how we're feeling at the moment out of us. Kind of like at the conference, the Deeper Men conference, I told the women that if you're going to do that, let them have a moment to themselves. Let them go play ball. Let them go to the gym. Let them go with their boys. Do something. When they come home, when they sit down and they're eating with you, ask them, how they feeling and things like that. But don't be looking to push the door wide open. Just get a crack. Because then we can share and we can build up to sharing more. Then the flip side to that is most of us don't really understand how we feel because we haven't really been taught, or we don't want to face how we feel. So I always tell people, no matter how stupid it sounds, get a notebook and just write the first thing that comes to your mind when you're upset.
Yeah.
It might not make sense at the moment, but when you start getting all that negativity out of your head, it's easier for you to communicate from an emotional and sensitive perspective and an unguarded perspective. And that will help with your emotional intelligence, because that's all I coach on how to be emotionally intelligent for male and female.
Unguarded was a key thing that you mentioned right there, because I think for us in general, men in general, we have a fear of being emotional and allowing those things to come out and it be used against us.
Boom.
So we all tend to guard ourselves, and a lot of it does come from how we were raised. We as children, you were picked up as a child, and told, "Hey, baby, don't cry. It'll be all right. You're okay. Even when you're
Toughen
not
up.
okay, you're really hurt.
Yeah.
You're taught to toughen up. Men don't cry in football. You guys got ridiculed if you cried and you're hurt and things like that. Even the motions of winning, guys were ridiculed for having that emotion or losing a championship, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you see this on a daily basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to let that stuff out and have it used against you. So yeah, we suck it all in.
Yeah, and I know I went through that feeling insignificant. I had to go to my phone and look up what I was talking about, but uh feeling insignificant because
Mhm.
again, I'm going back to childhood because
Right.
I was left alone. But they, you know, in the 70s when I was raised, it was just like you can handle it, right? It was just
Right.
like you gonna be there, you all right, you'll be fine. And it was in my mind, it was fine. But all the while, you know, a child needs love, right? A child needs that attention to detail. A child needs that, hey, I appreciate what you're doing. They need that reassurance. And
Yes.
I think when you become an adulthood, you never had it. So you're just like, hey, I don't need to do it now. I ain't never had it. And that's
Yeah.
not really a fruitful relationship. And
Well,
that's
I
what we're
think,
talking about. Being in a fruitful relationship, you're gonna have to let some things go from the past.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, what I think is things like this help,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Men speaking to men, because here's the thing: men don't know how to be men unless
See another
you
man.
become a man and you
Yeah,
see another man,
That's right.
Mhm.
right? And I try to explain this to people. It's you're having trouble and you're 25, right? And you're
Mhm.
married. You're having trouble, but you go talk to your best friend who's 25 that's never been married,
Right.
that doesn't have a relationship,
Ain't gonna work.
or you're in a group of
Right.
guys and they all be like, none of them are married.
Mhm.
That communication you're getting from that group is not going to apply to you,
No,
Mhm.
no.
right? You have to seek out the same people that are in this group, the same group as you, and have more experience than you in that group,
That's right.
right?
That's
In
right.
order to learn and get some upward mobility, you
That's
know.
right.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's hard because of our emotions and who we are in the pride as men. Sometimes we have a hard time opening up to each other,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right.
Mhm.
let alone our spouses.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's you. You worried about retaliation from your wife and
Yeah.
saying something back to
Right.
you, versus you going into a locker room and you telling a bunch of dudes all your business,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they
But
trying to get at your wife.
a
Yep.
lot of times
Ooh. Yeah,
it's
that's true.
relatability though, right?
Yeah.
I
It's
get it, but
guys will talk to guys when they can relate to what the guys are going through, and when you
yeah,
can relate, you feel that burden come off your shoulders, because now it becomes something where, man, I thought I was the only one that was dealing with this, and
yeah.
yeah,
But
so
still,
you
though,
can bond, yeah.
you gotta have that. You know, I pride myself on having very few friends,
Mm,
right? But I have a lot of acquaintances. I have people, right? But I have very few friends that know my innermost secrets
Right.
and thoughts and things like that. Because I've learned the value of you don't put everything out there in the street for everybody.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Okay. You got to keep some things to yourself. And Russ, you and I have had
Yeah.
some of those conversations,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
But so think of a young man. He can't get that out. You know what I mean? To an older guy, he's just not going to run up to him and be like, blah, and throw up in his lap,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
with
Right.
all
Right.
of
Right.
his
Right.
troubles and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He's going to run to who he's used to.
Right.
However, that
But
may
it's
not be the best
it may
thing
not,
for him.
but
You
it's
know,
who you can relate with, and
I
that's the
get
thing.
it.
Yeah.
I get it,
Li-
man. I was
Listen.
that
Listen.
young
Listen.
dude.
Yeah.
We
Well, the
we
good
got it. We
book
got it.
says it best. Seek it and you shall ask and shall be given. Seek and
Yeah.
you shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. You got to go looking.
You got
You
to go
got to
look
make
for it.
sure
Yeah.
you got to go out looking for it. You know, I
Mhm.
get guys come to me because I'm, you know, they call me OG at the gym now. And hey, look, that was a bruise to my ego. I was like, I'm not an OG. And it's like, do you like the same music we like? I said, no, you're OG. I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. But my point is, I had to sit back and listen to them first,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Have what you're talking about, Russ, a attentive ear. And I had to be able to say, young fella, I get what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But maturity says you got to do something different than what all your 25-year-old friends are saying. You got to do something
Yeah.
different because you're
Yeah.
now in a relationship. And as a man, you're going to have to give up some things that you were taught in your young adulthood into real
Yes.
manhood. You're going to have to
That's
give up.
right.
You just going to have to give up some things. right?
Mm-hmm.
Being respectful to your wife and saying, honey, I'm going out to do this. Did you want something while I was out? Oh, yeah. Can you get this up from Target, the grocery store? Yeah, yeah. That's called a mature man. And a mature man is not going to do the same thing an immature man is going to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some fine girls at the gym. I don't have no problem with that. But guess what? I ain't talking to none of them because they're not going to make me a pit in hell for nobody. I ain't going to make a bed in hell for them. That ain't going to happen. But I am going to make sure that like one girl, I said, hey, you look nice. Do you think you got to wear what you're wearing? Oh, don't look then. I said, no, it's not that I'm looking. It's the mere fact you're not representing what a lady should be wearing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I tell the young guys, I said, if she'll do this at the gym, what do you think she's doing anywhere else? What are we talking about? Is that a woman? Is that my wife material? Is that wife material? That kind of stuff. So all these things got to be said because I tell them, I said, I don't have a problem with you cursing around me or nothing like that. But understand, I have children. So I can't be the same guy that I was at 25, that I was at 35, and I was at 45. You know what I mean? Like everybody's pulled in there differently. So I had to get in touch with my emotions. I had to get some counseling. I remember one preacher told me, he said, well, how long are you going to get counseling? As much as I need it, I'm going to continually to get it because you're going to keep growing. You're going to keep going through some things. Let's just say, how do you create the space for them to feel comfortable and to show these emotions? Come on over to the Dave Cave. No, but really, this.
You gotta have the right mentality.
You gotta have the right mentality in the Dave Cave. See, that's how it all works. But no, but Les, you got a very good point. You've got to make, you got to foster, you got to come looking for it, right? You got to seek it. You got to know that, hey, I don't know everything. Like if we were all on the football team, right? That young quarterback that just got drafted is not going to be good, even as a quarterback that's got a veteran quarterback. He hasn't seen all the stuff. He might be more talented, but he hasn't seen the same thing. So he's got to eat that humble pie. I mean, I remember Tom Brady said it. He was like, look, I only had so many reps. Because remember, he was coming in with Drew Bledsoe. He said, I only have so many reps, but I made them reps count. And that's how emotional intelligence is. You're going to have to say, hey, I don't know everything. I need to get some. Let me go over here to where these guys are talking, all this right stuff. Yeah. It might seem weird at first, but look, again, we're talking about mature men and not a young man just saying, hey, I'm going to be all willy-nilly. I have to do some things.
So the second part of that question is, how do you create the space for them to feel comfortable to show those emotions?
Well, when you're dealing with this particular person is talking about young people,
young men.
Yeah. When you're a young man, you don't even know what you don't know. Let's just be honest.
Right.
Our brains do not fully develop until we're 25 years old.
That is correct.
We're still developing everything in our lives. So we're not fully developed. So we're still learning. As far as a young man is concerned, it's certain things that they have to be taught.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with how you're doing it. It's not about pushing and prying. It's about asking simple questions. So for an example would be, how was your day today? Usually most kids say, fine, it was all right. I ain't had that much to do. The next question will be, well, what was all right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
To get them to open up slowly but surely. It's not about pushing. It's about tapping with the next question and listening to understand when they feel that they can't communicate anymore. So at that point, let them be. Come back to them later on, give them the moment to calm down and say, hey, you know what? I just have a question. Do you think that, you're going through some things or you got something you want to talk about? Don't tell me about it. Write it down. Let them start writing down what's bothering them, what's on their mind, what's they faced throughout that day, what the changes. Maybe they went and asked some girl out and she turned them down. Maybe they went and asked some guy out and they turned them down. Whatever it is, just write it out. I don't want to see it. I don't need to read it. I just want you to write it down and get it out of your head. When you start to do that, in all honesty, every morning that you wake up, we fight not positive thoughts. We fight negative thoughts every single morning that we wake up. Think about it. When you wake up, it's usually, man, I don't feel like getting out the bed today. That's your first negative thought. Man, I just feel like laying here. That's another negative thought. Instead of looking at the day like, I'm glad I'm up. It's a great morning. We immediately start off with negativity. So we have to force ourselves to be positive. So what I do, I have young daughters, one 22, one 19. And what I tell them every day is, when you wake up, I want you to write down 5 things that's great about you. Just write it down. I don't need to see it. Just write it.
Mhm.
Then I want you to take those 5 things that you wrote down about yourself, and in the mirror, as you're getting ready, say those things to yourself in the mirror. Your
Mm.
words are more powerful than you will ever imagine. So if
That's
you're
right.
repeating something positive about yourself, I'm great. You're gonna start to believe that. People don't realize when they look, and I know I'm probably dating myself for some of these people. Muhammad Ali, look him up if you're too young. He always said, "I am the
The
greatest."
greatest.
Even when he lost, he said, "I
I'm the great.
am the greatest." He
And he
said
was.
that to allow himself to believe it, so he can receive it, so he can
Mm-hmm.
achieve it.
Achieve it.
Just because you lose, just because you fall down, doesn't mean you can't get back up and win. So whatever it is that you think that you're the greatest in, tell yourself that, and that will help that young person to feel better, and to be able to get more in touch with their emotions. Tell them to just 5 things what's great about themselves.
Yeah.
And some kids
Absolutely.
start to write down negative things.
Mm.
If they write down a negative thing, what I would suggest to whomever asked that question, if you write down something that's not good about you, or if you don't have an idea, tell them to come see you and just say, why don't you have something good?
Mm.
And you do the same thing, especially if you're a parent. Write down 5 things that's great about you. Because if they see you do it, they're going to do it.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Oh yeah. Read, write, recite always works. Read,
Guys,
write, recite always
we
works.
are way over time
My
for this
bad.
episode. It's all good. It's all good. But listen, Dave, Marcus, what projects do you guys have coming up?
Well, I have my Right Mentality Mindset Conference. I'm still looking for speakers here in Chicago. September 7th is a speaking event. You can go to www.therightmentality.com/opt in, and you can sign up to be a speaker. I also have a bunch of stuff. You can reach me on Right Mentality. There it is right there next to my name on all social media sites. And if you go to LinkedIn, it's Marcus A. Wright, not that erotic dude. It's your boy, Marcus A.
Marcus
Wright.
A.
You know what I'm
Wright.
saying? And tomorrow, now that I finally got my Facebook fixed, which took forever, like literally 3 months, I have not been able to truly post the right way. I am now bringing back the word of the day beginning tomorrow on Facebook.
All right.
Awesome.
Make sure you go out there and
Excellent.
follow him. Dave, what you got?
Okay, so what's going on with the Dave Cave is MrDDWilliams.com. That website is going to be up and going. Hopefully, I'll have it by the end of this month. But we're gonna start taking participants for the Dave Cave, right? So we're gonna introduce people to the cave, and we're gonna make sure that we go to those doctors, dentists, and the therapists. That's what I'm all about. That's what I always will be about. Because I just want people here to argue with. You know what I mean? So so yeah, that's my whole thing, man. I'm on all the socials, Mr. DD Williams. The D is for devastating. But the whole thing is just pushing the narrative of we got to do better. So we got to do better. So we got to start with us. That's what it's about. Always will be about. That's what it always is about.
Fantastic. Hey, gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of the Man Space. But thank you guys for being part of our 200th episode.
Thank you,
and
thank you, guys.
Definitely will have you guys back on. We'll do some more with you because there's a lot. We just scratched the surface.
Yeah,
and there's a lot more that we need to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we got to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of the show. As we do each week, we like to close the show with just a little bit of inspiration. Manspace Nation, ask yourself, what are you worth? Better yet, how do you even measure that? As an entrepreneur, you put a price tag on your time, your effort, and your product. But are you yourself something that you put a price tag on? One thing I've learned over the years is self-worth is immeasurable. You're not defined by the applause of the crowd or likes on social media from strangers. The value of your worth is defined by the depth of your dreams and the fight within your spirit. You see, people will either try to build you up or tear you down. But if you know your worth, there is no one that can do that. Your worth is your shield of armor that defends you from attacks from all sides. So go look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, no, better yet, tell yourself what you are worth. Manspace Nation, embrace your self-worth and share that with the world. Ask yourself every single day what you are worth and know your value and what do you bring. So that's our word of the week. That's our Manspace inspiration.
Value.
That's right.
What is your value? What is your worth?
Right. Know your worth.
I used to be worth a cheeseburger. I think I'm worth a little bit more than that now.
You probably more like White Castle.
I'm a whole crave case, baby. Somebody craving for me right now. That's it, baby.
Oh
20
my
funky
gosh.
little cheeseburgers.
And on that note,
we out of here.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Manspace.
Whichever platform you listen to us on, make sure you subscribe and don't miss a show.
Remember to keep up with all the Manspace updates on our website, themanspacepodcast.com.
And you can follow us on Instagram at ManspaceNat1.
Until next time, Manspace Nation, he's Les, I am Russ, and we are out
Out of here.